Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that one small island has suddenly become the center of the biggest crisis on Earth. Stock markets are crashing. Car factories have stopped. New smartphones are delayed. Artificial intelligence companies can't get the chips they need, and governments around the world are holding emergency meetings. It sounds like the beginning of a movie, but this could happen because of one island, Taiwan. Home to just 23 million people and located barely 100 miles from China's coastline, Taiwan has become one of the most strategically important places on the planet. To some, it's a successful democracy. To others, it's a province waiting to be reunited with China. But to the rest of the world, Taiwan is something far more valuable. It has become the invisible engine powering the modern economy. So why would the United States risk a confrontation with another nuclear superpower over an island thousands of miles away? Is it about freedom, military power, or something much bigger? To answer that question, we have to go back more than 75 years. In 1949, China was torn apart by a brutal civil war. Mao Zedong's communist forces defeated the nationalist government led by Chiang Kai-shek, forcing nearly 2 million people to flee across the Taiwan Strait. They rebuilt their government on Taiwan, while Mao established the People's Republic of China in Beijing. From that day forward, both governments claimed to represent the real China. During the Cold War, America backed Taiwan to contain communism across Asia. But in the 1970s, Washington officially recognized Beijing while quietly continuing to support Taiwan through arms sales and unofficial partnerships. That delicate balance still exists today, leaving Taiwan caught between two global powers with completely different visions of the future. But politics alone doesn't explain why the world cares so much about this island. The real reason is something you can't even see. Hidden inside your phone, laptop, car, gaming console, hospital equipment, fighter jet, and even the AI systems shaping the future are tiny semiconductor chips. They are the brains behind nearly every modern technology we use. And one company on this small island manufactures most of the world's most advanced chips. Companies like Apple, Nvidia, AMD, Qualcomm, and many others rely on Taiwan every single day. Without these chips, the digital world slows down.
So why are these tiny chips so important? Think of them as the brains inside nearly every modern device. Your phone, laptop, gaming console, smart TV, electric car, hospital equipment, fighter jet, and even the AI systems shaping the future all rely on advanced semiconductor chips. Building them isn't as simple as assembling electronics. These chips are manufactured inside some of the most advanced factories ever built, using machines so precise they can carve circuits thousands of times thinner than a human hair. That level of technology can't be copied overnight. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the world experienced a small taste of what happens when chip supplies are disrupted. Car manufacturers shut down production, electronics became harder to find, and prices increased across the globe. That was only a temporary shortage. Now imagine if Taiwan's semiconductor factories stopped operating because of a military conflict. Artificial intelligence companies would struggle to build new systems. Smartphone launches would be delayed. Military contractors could face production shortages. Financial markets would react instantly, and the global economy would feel the shock within days. That's why governments around the world are spending billions to build their own chip factories. But replacing Taiwan's experience and manufacturing capacity could take many years. This is exactly why the United States pays so much attention to Taiwan. It isn't only protecting an island, it is protecting one of the most important supply chains on Earth. But technology isn't the only reason. Taiwan also occupies one of the most strategic locations in the Pacific Ocean. Sitting between China and America's allies, it forms part of the first island chain, a natural defensive barrier that limits China's ability to project military power deeper into the Pacific. If Beijing controlled Taiwan, its navy would gain much greater freedom to operate, placing additional pressure on countries like Japan, the Philippines, and even American forces stationed across the region. Yet perhaps the biggest concern isn't military at all, its credibility. For decades, America's allies have trusted that Washington will stand by them during times of crisis. If Taiwan were abandoned, governments across Asia would begin asking whether America's security guarantees could still be trusted. That single question could reshape alliances across the Indo-Pacific and alter the global balance of power. From Washington's perspective, defending Taiwan isn't simply about democracy or geography. It's about preserving technological leadership, protecting economic stability, maintaining military deterrence, and reassuring allies that American commitments still matter. But despite all these reasons, one question continues to worry military planners around the world. What happens if China decides diplomacy has failed and launches an invasion? Could anyone actually stop it? If China ever decided to launch an invasion, it wouldn't simply be another regional conflict, it would become one of the most complex and dangerous military operations in modern history. Before a single soldier reached Taiwan's shores, cyber attacks would likely cripple power grids, communication networks, airports, banks, and military systems, while precision missiles targeted air bases and ports in an attempt to weaken Taiwan's defenses. Yet despite possessing one of the world's largest militaries, crossing the Taiwan Strait would be an enormous challenge. Taiwan has spent decades preparing for this exact scenario, building coastal missile batteries, underground bunkers, naval defenses, and urban strongholds designed to make any invasion incredibly costly. But the biggest uncertainty isn't Taiwan's military, it's America's response. For decades, Washington has followed a policy known as strategic ambiguity, never clearly promising to defend Taiwan while never ruling it out either. The goal has always been to discourage China from invading while preventing Taiwan from declaring formal independence. However, if missiles began falling and invasion forces crossed the strait, that ambiguity could disappear overnight. A conflict that begins over one island could rapidly draw in Japan, Australia, and other American allies, creating the most dangerous confrontation between major powers in generations. And even if the fighting remained limited, the economic consequences would be felt worldwide. Global shipping routes could be disrupted, financial markets might lose trillions of dollars, electronics and automobiles would become more expensive, artificial intelligence development could slow dramatically, and industries that rely on advanced semiconductors would struggle for years. This is why leaders on every side continue trying to avoid crossing the line. China views Taiwan as unfinished national reunification. The United States sees Taiwan as essential to maintaining stability in the Indo-Pacific, protecting technological leadership, and preserving the balance of global power. Taiwan simply wants to determine its own future. Today, warships patrol nearby waters. Fighter jets regularly enter contested airspace, and diplomats work tirelessly behind closed doors because everyone understands what's at stake. Taiwan is no longer just an island, it has become the meeting point of technology, economics, military strategy, and international politics. History has shown that the biggest global events often begin in the smallest places, and Taiwan may be the clearest example of that reality. Its future won't only shape Asia, it could shape the future of the entire world. The real question is no longer whether Taiwan matters, it clearly does. The question is whether the world's biggest powers can continue competing without turning this small island into the center of the next global crisis.